Now we'll start the class. First thing, whenever you are discussing about numbers, there are two important words which tend to be confusing, and I have seen most of the students having confusion between this. They don't know what is the difference between numbers and digits. Numbers and digits. Okay. So now let's consider an example 252. This is called a number, and this number contains three digits. So what are the digits it contains? 2, 5 and 2. Right. So digits are individual characters that are present in the numbers. This is actually very useful whenever you are finding the palindrome or not problems. Palindrome or not. Right. You are trying to find out the digits of this given number by dividing it by 10. You remember, you see in the palindrome program, you are actually dividing a number by 10 and finding the units place of that every time. Now 252, you just divide it or mod by 10. Mod means you'll find the remainder. What is the answer of this? You divide 252 by 10 and what you will get answer as? Answer is 25.2, but I want the reminder. And remember, there are students who don't know how to find the reminder. You should not you should not go for decimal. Go for decimal while finding the reminder. Okay, while finding reminder. Now 252 divided by 10. So 10 to the 20. You got 5 here into then 10 5 the 50. So you are left with 2. So this itself is a reminder. You should not go for taking point here. If you take point, the remainder will become 0. That is not the answer. That is not the reminder at all. Reminder is when you have a whole number in the quotient. Whole number in the quotient. I hope this one is clear. I know most of you know this one, but there are people who actually have confusion in this also. I have seen. Okay. Now we'll just go to the next part of this. Different type of numbers. Different type of numbers. There are various group of set of numbers like natural numbers. Natural numbers. We also have whole numbers. Sometime you will have to use these properties, so I am just mentioning them once. If you want, you can make notes of this whenever you are going for some exam, and at that time you can just revise it and go, so that you will not make mistakes or will not have any confusion while solving. Positive numbers, negative numbers, and then again we will have non-negative numbers. Recently I have taught this in the class. Non-negative numbers, and then non-positive numbers. Non-positive numbers, rational numbers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, numbers, and whole numbers, and a real number. Real number. So these are the different types of numbers. There are so many others, but just to know that at least these many kinds of numbers are there. So what are the natural numbers? I want you to answer me in the comment section. Okay. So can you tell me what are the natural numbers? It starts from here. I want a two-way interaction in the class so that you all are awake. Okay. Yes, it starts from 1. It starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. This is natural number. What is whole numbers? Whole number will start from a whole number. A whole number 0, 1, 2, 3. A number which has a whole number. Okay. And what is the integer? Yes. What are integers? Both positive numbers, negative numbers with 0. With 0. So, yes. So, can you tell me whose number is more, integers or whole numbers? Integers are more or whole numbers are more? Yes, integers. Okay. So integers are more than whole numbers because integers also contain negative numbers, but whole numbers do not contain negative numbers. Now coming to the positive numbers start from 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Then negative numbers are -1, -2, -3, -4. And there is non-negative number. I have told you already, there is a difference between positive numbers and non-negative numbers. Can anyone tell me what is difference between positive numbers and non-negative numbers? Or both are same? Can you recall once it was taught in the class, in A class I think, recently? What is difference between positive numbers and non-negative numbers? If you read the question, you will feel like both are same, but actually they are not same. Positive number will include +1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Non-negative numbers will include 1, 2, 3, 4, but it will also include 0. So non-negative numbers are nothing but a whole number because it is including 0 also. But positive numbers will include natural numbers. I hope this one is clear. There is a slight difference between positive number and a non-negative number. Anybody any doubt in this concept? This is important. In some cases you may have questions depending upon this one, non-negative and positive numbers. Okay, I need a response from you people. I can see the screen. Okay, let me share the screen also. Okay, good. Now we'll go to the non-negative number starts from 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes, correct. Now you will go to the next one, non-positive numbers. Non-positive numbers, they are numbers from 0, -1, -2, -3. They are non-positive numbers. Similar concept. Now what are rational numbers? These concepts are very important. Rational, irrational. When you combine these rational and irrational, you will have real numbers. Okay. Now we'll just try to elaborate rational numbers here. Rational numbers. Any number which can be written in P by Q form, and P and Q are integers. Q is not equal to 0. This is just a definition, but I don't stop at the definition itself. I will give you examples also. Now let's imagine that you have got 5. 5 can be written as 5 divided by 1. So 5 is a rational number. See here, P is equal to 5 and Q is equal to 1. So this is in the form of P by Q, and this is a rational number. Okay, you got it. Now, irrational numbers, a number which cannot be written in the form of p by q. For example, pi. Pi cannot be written in the form of p by q. Okay, but most of the time we use 22 by 7. This is not the actual value of pi. Actual value of pi is not this. It is not the answer of pi. But for our convenience, we'll use 22 by 7. But actual value is 3.142 something. It never stops. Never stops. And never repeats also. Never repeats. So there is a definition for irrational numbers. They are non-terminating. Non-terminating means not terminate means stop. Non-terminating or non-recurring. Recurring means repeat. They are not terminating and non-repeating. If you see this number, it is not repeating 142, 142, 142, something like this. But it is just continuing with some random numbers and never stopping. So actually pi is a irrational number and you cannot write pi as 22 by 7. Just for convenience purpose we will use pi as 22 by 7. There are so many examples of rational number. Root 2 is a irrational number. Root 3 is a irrational number. Root 4, is it rational or irrational? Can you tell me root 4 is rational or irrational? Anyone? Yes, root 4 is rational because the value of root 4 is what? 2. So 2 is a rational number. Root 3 is irrational. Again root 5 is what? Irrational. Anything that is not perfect square is an example of irrational number. Okay. I hope this one was clear. And when you combine these both rational and irrational numbers, you get real numbers. Real numbers. So there is a concept of a real line. What real line shows you? Just I'll draw a real line here. I've got 0 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and minus 5. And so on. If you look at this line contains both rational numbers and irrational numbers. You understood? This number contains both rational and irrational. If you ask me, if you tell me, if you can you tell me where is root 2 located on this line? Root 2 is located between which two numbers? Anyone? What is the decimal value of root 2? Yes. It is actually located between, Kavana says it is located between 1 and 2 because root 2 is nothing but 1.4. So it is located between 1 and 2, but you cannot exactly say that this is the place where it is located because this is a irrational number. Actually, you can exactly pinpoint on the real number about numbers, but you cannot write it in decimal points. Okay. In the same way, can you tell me where root 5 will be located? Root 5 will be located at which place? This property is very important when you are finding the checking whether a number is prime or not. At that time, this part is very important. Root 5 is located in between which two numbers? 2 and 3. I want answer from others. I can say only one person answer. So root 5 is located at 2 and 3 because you see what is the square of 2? It is 4 and square of 3 is 9. So any number that comes in between 4 and 9 like root 5, root 6, root 7 All these numbers lies between 2 and 3. Okay. Now we'll just take a simple example. If you take root 13 lies between what? Now just check. 3 is what? Square of 3 is what? 9. And square of 4 is what? 16. So any root between, now root 9 is 3 and root 16 is 4. Any number between this root 10, root 11, root 12, root 13, root 14, root 15. All these numbers lies between 3 and 4. Sometime you will have this kind of question also, because you will use this property to find whether a number is prime or not. You will learn that concept bit later. Okay, this concept is very important, so I am emphasizing on this one. Now there are two more types. Already you know them, but you need to know their definition properly. So there are even numbers and odd numbers. Even numbers and odd numbers. Can you tell me what is the possible definition of even numbers? A number divisible by divisible by 2. Any number that is divisible by 2 is a even number. Can you tell me minus 10? Is it a even number? Is minus 10 a even number? So there are six students in the class, and I can find only one answering. I want all others to answer. You can just use comment section somehow and answer. I'm waiting. Yes, minus 10 is actually divisible by 2. Okay. So it is not applicable only on positive numbers or only on negative numbers. It is applicable on all the rational numbers. You cannot find whether a irrational number is even or not. It is not possible. Can you tell me why? I cannot find irrational number is a even or odd. Can you tell me why? So my question will be like, is pi even number? Is pi a even number? Yes, you cannot find whether a irrational number is even or not, because it is not terminating. You can check, you can say whether 3.142 is even or odd. Even or odd. You can say whether this is even or odd because it has stopped here only. If there is a number which is never stopping, like 17315 something like this, and it is never ending, such numbers you cannot find even or odd, because you do not know what is the last value. You cannot check whether it is divisible by 2 or not. I hope this one is clear. Okay. Now the definition of odd numbers. If a number is not even, if number is not even, then it is odd. Then it is odd. Or you can have another definition. A number not divisible by 2. Both are same, but you can have such definitions also. You can write your own definition. If somebody asks you what are even numbers, you can tell these definitions. Now the last one is prime number, prime numbers and composite numbers. Composite numbers. Can anyone tell me what is the definition of prime numbers? What is the prime number? So many times you have heard, you have written programs in so many languages to find a number to find whether a number is prime or not. A number divisible by 1 and itself. Yes, a number divisible by 1 and itself. This is a prime number. Itself only. A number that is divisible by 1 and itself only. Means there are only two factors to that number. If you take 4, 4 is divisible by 1, 2 and 4. Now 10, 10 is divisible by 1, 5, 2 and 10. Same way if you take 7, 7 is divisible by 1 and 7 only. So it is a prime number. These are not prime numbers. Can you tell me whether minus 3 is prime or composite? Is minus 3 prime or composite? Anyone? Or you are in confusion? Prime? Actually, there is one more concept. If you are checking for prime, it has to be a positive number. Positive number. You have to. So you will write a condition while writing a prime number program. If number is less than 0 or 1, return minus 1. Means if a number is a negative number, you cannot say that it is prime or not prime. Actually, you cannot say. So prime number concept is applicable only to the positive numbers. So minus 3 cannot be classified into prime number and composite number. That is a wrong question itself. Question itself is wrong. You cannot check whether minus 3 is prime or not prime because it is applicable only on the positive numbers. Okay. So we do not write prime numbers. Have you seen any negative prime number any time in the life? All right. Okay, fine. Now, on the basis of whatever you have studied, I'll give you a very simple question. Okay. You have understood the positional value. There are two things. One is local value and face value. Okay. Now, the question is the difference between the local value, LV is local value, and face value of 7 in numeral 8975004. This is a number, numeral is number. In this you need to find what is local value and face value of 7. And you should know what is the difference between local value and face value. Local value is nothing but the value that you can actually see without the number. Okay. Can anybody tell me? So you see the position of 7. What is the local value of this one? Local value of this is 7,000. Okay. And what is face value? Means just by looking at this, what you think? It is just 7. So the answer is 7,000 minus 7. So this will be equal to 6993. So you should know this part also. There are two things about this number. There is a positional value. Depending upon the position, this 7 is getting a value, and another is inherent value. Means only the value of that particular digit. Okay, I hope you understood this question. Position, depending upon position, it is having a value, right? And then depending upon its face, means just by looking at it, you know what is the value of 7. That is 7 itself. I hope these questions are clear, and these concepts are very important. If you have made notes, that is well and good. You see, you most of the students do not know that minus 3 cannot be found, minus 3 cannot be classified into prime number. So this was supposed to be taught in class 9th, but that is fine. I know the difficulty that you have faced when you were in class 9th and 10th. That's why I thought let me cover some of the basics and start solving question afterwards. Okay. I hope this session was helpful. Anybody any doubt? Okay, good. We'll take a leave and tomorrow we'll continue with some more concepts and we'll start solving the questions on numbers. They are very interesting. Okay, you can take a leave now.